All right, hey everyone, welcome to our podcast. My name is Hansel. I'm here with my best buddy Wayne. We wrote a book. It's called theCoderBros Go to White Castle, and it's the stories of our life adventures from when we met all the way up to running a company together called The Coder School. Writing down our stories made us realize that in the end, as the podcast title says, we are so Asian. So we thought it'd be cool to hear the adventures of other Asians out there. And that's what this podcast is all about. So Wayne, what kind of awesome Asian do we have today?
Yeah, our guest today is a passionate spiritual leader and dedicated storyteller. He serves as the downtown Markham campus executive pastor, I heard just recently, at the Richmond Hill Christian Community Church. He also hosts his own podcast called CAMP, I guess Canadian Asian Missional Podcast. So let's welcome Shu-Ling Lee.
Shu-Ling! What's that? What is
that?
How is that related to shoeing? Somebody tell us how.
Christian rock. That is Christian rock right there. And I don't know,
Shu-Ling, if that Christian rock?
If your church plays any Christian rock or not, or what, but I thought I'd throw it out there.
Well, I'm kind of in a Christian rock band, but that's
there you go.
Yeah,
I pulled it. See?
That is not my band.
All right, well, Shu-Ling, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you being on. So I guess full transparency, you are my cousin, and so we are 100% related. So if we have some stories about our aunties, we'll know it's the same aunties we're talking about. But Shu-Ling, start us off. Tell us what you are doing now, executive pastor. What does that mean? And just what are you up to these days?
Cool. Well, first, thanks for the invitation for this, guys. I don't know, this was really out of the blue, but it's going to be fun, I'm pretty sure. So I am currently, who am I? I am a second gen Chinese Canadian that lives in the Greater Toronto area. I'm a pastor at, as you guys were mentioning, at Richmond Hill Christian Community Church in Richmond Hill, Ontario. But I helped to start our multi-site campus ministry. It's kind of like, different campus sites for like schools kind of thing. And recently this year, I helped to start that ministry or that kind of strategy for multi-siting campus sites. And then this year, January, I was asked to step up to become the executive pastor, kind of like the executive director of an organization. So I was, so I'm right now the executive pastor at RH3C. Yeah.
And what the heck does that mean? Executive pastor. So you said that to us before. So I have to admit, I'm not super religious. So I'm not a church guy. I'm an agnostic engineer. It's how I put it. What the heck does a executive pastor actually do, and what does it mean?
Well, first of all, agnostic. It's at least you're there. So agnostic sounds good at least on that end. But I guess like an executive director at some kind of organization or parachurch or whatnot. I do a lot of I do all the administrative duties. I'm like the CAO of a company, or operations COO kind of thing. So anything to do with HR, finance, operations, facilities.
So it's like so it's basically a church is like a company. It's like a little a company, little company with a site and HR.
I thought I was gonna because my wife's Catholic and my daughters are being raised Catholic, and then so I have a little bit of vision into that. But that seems like it's very hierarchical in that you're, I don't know, pastor, father, and then you become a bishop or an archbishop, and you try to make your way all the way to the Pope or something.
Are you in line for the Pope?
Yeah, are you in line for the Pope, or what's the equivalent ladder in
I'll tell you guys, I have zero ambition for any of that kind of responsibility, but at least for our church.
Yeah, you're an executive pastor, so it's not working, man.
That was more of being pulled into than me trying to vie for that position. But yeah, our church is about 4,000 people, so we're pretty well. Our claim to fame is that we're probably the largest predominantly Chinese immigrant church in North America. Like in terms of
Whoa.
even in the States, there are mega churches, there are large churches, but what ends up happening, and because we're on an Asian podcast, a lot of Asian churches when they grow, they have this issue with culture, and the English speaking guys get mad at the immigrant guys, and they what they call church
So you
splits.
mean we're racist to each
So
other is what we're saying.
Yeah, of course.
basically, kind of like we can't, or it's like family growing up, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm moving out of the house, and I'm going to do something else. So, but our church, I would say, by the grace of God, if I could say, has, been able to stay together intact somewhat. And yeah, we're pretty large and we're still trying to, work out life together as a church with these different, language speaking groups in our
How
church.
how big is your church? How many people can it hold in one,
Um, so we have like a
sermon?
few kind of sanctuaries, auditoriums. The largest one can fit 1,600. Um,
Okay, so it's
Whoa.
not like
and
all 4,000 are going at the same time.
No, no way.
But
So we
but
have
about
multi
half.
services. Yeah. And then we have a large children's ministry, youth ministry, that kind of thing. So part of the strategy right now, we used to plant other churches, but now we're like, why don't we try to have different sites that are still part of the same church? And that's what I helped to start. Where I'm part of I'm the lead pastor of our smaller site, and it's like 150
How many
people.
sermons are you giving a week? Do you do like three on Sunday, two on? I know the Catholics do Wednesday. They have like all these different ones all over.
I'm not the main preacher at our church. Our lead pastor is that, but I preach at my campus site more regularly, and sometimes we'll have video sermons in. But our community kind of engages still in that area, has our own time of musical worship, or engage locally the community in different ways. But yeah, but I have,
Okay.
my boss is the lead guy who preaches probably the most.
But you're the executive. Isn't that above the lead?
No, I'm
Yeah,
like
what's
the
above you?
XO. I'm
Yeah.
like the
You're
You
like the
the
said the
so
XO, so
like
there's a
lead,
CEO.
but
so
lead
the
doesn't
CEO,
sound
yeah.
above executive. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
like you're above.
I'm like the XO. I'm like the more like COO kind of thing, and
So with all
Okay,
these
cool.
sites, what makes it the same, quote unquote, same church? Because they're all, I'm assuming different sermons and whatnot, but they somehow roll up to a top church and this church, this sort of bigger church tells everybody what to say, or what makes them roll up into one church? Why isn't it just different churches?
Well, that's what we did before, and it wasn't working that well. And I think the language dynamics is hard to work with as well because we have English speaking, Cantonese speaking, Mandarin speaking services and people groups essentially. And
Mm.
actually, in our English people group, we have even more wide variety than that, like Pan Asian and even non Asian in our community. So it's just, but at least in terms of you saying a top down. Currently, sermons and stuff are more like, we'll work together as a team to like, I have like 80 staff at our church, and
Mm.
it's part-time, full-time kind of thing. So we have different pastors for different groups, different language groups. We have different pastors for different responsibilities. But yeah, in terms of how those things are disseminated, some of them are worked out in smaller teams and then pushed
Well,
out.
like
So
you said that you work together, but I've always been interested, like what does inspire, like when I go to church, the actual sermon, that topic. I mean,
Yeah.
do things like, God speaks to you one morning, or I mean, something happens, or your kid does something, and you're like, hey, that would be a good lesson to try to teach them. Or is it really just handed down? You're in a group and they're like, hey, we're going to talk about Joseph today. And
Well, sometimes I think it's a mix. Sometimes what we'll call it is that we'll preach through a book of the Bible. Like we'll go through a long series and just kind of it's called expository preaching. You're going to preach through like, hey, we're going to preach through Genesis or something like that. And we're going to go through,
Mhm.
it's like 52 chapters of Genesis. How are we going to split this up? For the whole year, we're going to do this, or we'll do topical messages. We'll be like, hey, let's preach about marriage. Let's preach about singleness. How does God view these things? How do we support one another in community? What does that look like? And we'll create series based off of that, and then we'll have maybe like common outlines that we'll work on together, and then but the expression of it is we'll make sure, hey, people, God's working through you. So
Mm.
maybe I might talk about I'm trying to raise up my kid, but I'm a crappy father, and I got to
Right, right.
how do I repent and get better at this. I'm giving my own life stories, but this female pastor is like, well, I'm not a father. I'm not speaking
Right.
to my
Yeah,
kid that way. So
that makes sense.
it's going to be a little bit different, right? And and their experience is going to be different. But
I
we
see.
want to see that expression and God working in their lives come out that way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
That
I was
makes
looking at
sense.
your I was looking at your Facebook page before we got on, and I noticed that you put in terms of like who you are, who your identity is. You put disciple first. You put disciple, and then was it like father or son and like husband, something else, something else. But disciple is the first thing you put in there. So I've always known you to be kind of a religious guy. Is this something that you've known since the beginning? How did you know you're going to get into this?
that's a good question. And yeah, I don't think anyone's asked me that in a long time. But so I do see my identity first as a disciple, a follower of Christ. I think when I was younger, I tried to kind of differentiate the difference between this is my parents' faith versus my faith,
Yeah, your
and
parents
I
were
had
super religious. I remember when we were growing up, right?
yeah,
Because
and they
they
still
always took me
are.
to church whenever I saw, yeah, and they still
Interesting.
are. Yep.
And it
Yeah,
didn't work with
choir.
Hansel though at all.
Yeah, it didn't work for
It
me. I
didn't
was like, I'm
work.
out of here.
Well,
I
Hansel's
was
like,
like, I totally tuned out
he's
the sermon.
like,
I'm gone.
my devil worshiping days are not ending, you know. But
well, that's
you're,
why you went to rock band, right?
yeah, that's
That's
right.
That's right.
Rock.
That's right.
Hansel
All
was
the
on the
devil
other
horns and
end.
all.
Yeah, he's on the dark side. It's fine.
yeah. Well, people go through their different journeys and whatnot, and I think God's gracious, and who knows? Who knows? Not yet. Maybe just
Yeah,
not yet.
that's
But
right.
um, well, yeah, my
By the
parents
end of
are
this
choir
podcast.
conductor. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you
we'll
got
pray
30
for
minutes
that.
left
We'll
to
pray
convince
for
me.
that. um, my parents choir conductor, choir pianist, and they were,
Yeah.
and you get to see whether someone's life is legit or not, right? And I'll say to my parents, like they were legit. Like of course, it's hard. You're the way the Chinese culture, how you're brought up, and we're brought up in Canada and Toronto. There's just so much differences of almost like as I was being raised up in the school system and having different friends, and my parents trying to raise me up. I remember one time, Hansel, I don't know, like my dad told me this one time. He said, I was just like we're having a fight or something like that, and I was just saying, hey, why can't you just show me support, love, like a dad? And he's like,
Hmm.
I'm a Chinese man. I don't, don't think I'm a
I'll
Western father,
support
a
you.
white father here. I was like, what?
I'm a Chinese man. I'm gonna use
I
that
was like,
one. I'm gonna use that
okay.
one.
And then
Oh,
I was
Uncle
like,
Jeff, I'm going to give him crap for that. That's funny.
yeah.
I'm a
But,
Chinese.
but the thing is,
That's
ultimately, they
classic.
did. I think they're being raised up in that Christian faith had its effect on me. And for me, I think being a Christian, it's at least a Protestant Christian. I would say that you have a relationship with Christ, and if you don't have a relationship with Christ, then you don't really know what it means to be a Christian. Then,
Hmm.
so for me, my first identity, I say, is to Jesus. So I make sure
Yeah.
that's something I cultivate, regularly.
Because I remember when you were pretty young, and so you have a brother, Yuling is his name, confusingly. That's like my brother. His name
So
is Haniel. Haniel Hansel Yuling Shu-Ling.
Yuling. Okay.
Yep.
Now I'm
Yeah.
confused.
So
I'm very
yeah,
confused. And
super
then there's
confusing. But I
Hansel,
remember
Haniel.
you were like the Shu-Ling. You were like the rebellious dude. You were like when we were young. You were like the rebellious kid. And you were the one getting in trouble all the time. Yuling, I felt like he was more of a straight arrow. Both of you
Totally.
guys though ended up going into like did you major in theology or something like that? Because Yuling is like at a PhD or something in theology.
Wow.
Yeah. So he, not in theology. So me and my brother both went to do our masters. Okay. In Protestant Bible college, you'll when you do your master's level, you get a master's of divinity. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that kind of
I didn't
term,
even know
but
there was
I
such a thing. That's
think I've heard
yeah,
of that, but yeah, it was
oh.
just so far removed from anything I was really,
it,
Yeah, it's not our
paying
yeah,
world.
no,
attention
totally,
to. So yeah,
yeah.
it just kind of
It's
was
but it's
more
just funny.
fictional
Like,
to me.
yeah, exactly. I'm a master of divinity. Like, it's kind of
I'm
weird, but
doing, yeah.
uh, so we both got that. He ended up going, I will never be a pastor in a church. So screw that. So he didn't go into that direction,
Mm.
but he went back to school. He did a PhD in education, and he's actually an education professor at Trinity Western in BC right now. So he's a professor there. And for me, I just kept going, and this is part of my story too. That I guess I could share a little bit about this still about who I am. I I got rejected to every university I applied to. speaking of rebellious, I used
Yeah,
to just,
that
I
happens
don't
to
know
a
what I
lot
was
of people
doing.
nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
everybody's getting rejected all over the place.
So maybe my story resonates with, all these, Asian Americans too. But um, I even got kicked out after my first year because I
Oh
had
wow.
like a crazy, like I think we had a 12-point GPA system, like instead of four point.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but I had it
So
in a
you had a
12-point
4
system.
GPA in the 12-point system.
Oh, I had
Like
a zero. I
a
had a zero
zero
point something in
Out of 12.
the 12
out of
point.
12.
How
Yeah,
is that possible?
I
You
don't
should.
know, but
And what did the Chinese dad say about that? What did
Ooh, yeah.
must have been
he
flipping out?
it's like, no, no, okay, but
He's like, I'm gonna
he
beat you because I am a Chinese man. Boom.
they were definitely not happy. So, but it was, I had to learn a lot of lessons, stop playing basketball all the time and, just really buckle down and finish my degree. So I had to do that. And, it was always a joke. Like, by the way, in high school in Canada, we had a grade 13. That's when I was still doing high school. And that's why I couldn't get into university because we used to take this thing called the Asian six pack, okay, in terms of courses. Asian six pack was, in terms of math, is a finite algebra calculus, and then it was biology, chemistry, and physics. And I
Okay.
failed like four of them, four out of six of them.
Oh wow. So
So
it's Asian
yeah,
six
great.
pack because like the Asians do it. Like it's because it's
Yeah, they
STEM
do
It's
it
like
related.
the
for
thing.
sure.
Not
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not for the whiteys. Okay.
And it's not
no,
about the abdominal muscles, definitely.
no,
Yeah, I was
Asian.
like,
no.
are we
Yeah.
talking
It's
about beer? Are we talking about abs?
the
It's the
Asian
Asian.
abdominals.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
Asian abdominals.
Asian
The Asian
So
Asian
abdominals.
abdominals.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, but because I did so bad in school, like again, that was part of my journey in terms of faith. I was like questioning God. I was like, really? It's like,
Yeah.
isn't aren't I supposed to go forward with what my friends are doing? And I'm
Yeah.
Asian. Shouldn't I be doing well?
That's
So
right. At
like
least in
going,
math. Come on, I'm
yeah,
Asian.
at
Like,
At least
least,
in
right? I
math.
mean, that should be
yeah.
automatic A. It's just inherited.
But yeah, it was difficult, and in the end, I was talking to my pastor, and he was I was saying, hey, should I just go to Bible college or something like that? Just try to bypass going to university is the bigger institution in Canada. I know college is the more reputable one in the States, but our universities are more reputable. Our colleges are more trade schools, like in Canada. So I know that's a little confusing, but. I was asking him, should I just go to Bible college? And then he was just like, Shu, if you really want to actually do ministry and engage people in how they're thinking in the real world today, go to university. Like, buckle down, get your crap together, and go to university. Like, do the courses you need to finish and get into university. So I buckled down, did summer school, got some courses out, and then I finally had enough to apply to certain schools. Again, got rejected to every school, and then finally one school in Canada, York University. Literally, I went to the admissions officer, and then she just like, hey, give me your report card. And she's like, okay, you're above a 65. You're in. We just want your money. And and then, yeah, so
Pay to
I was
play. Pay
yeah
to play. They're
yeah.
just
Right
like, you
on.
have money.
Do you
Let's
feel
take
like
it.
that? I mean, that must have impacted you in a lot of ways, right? I mean, did it make you, I guess, understand the importance of hard work, or do you look back and just say like just whatever that was just God's plan and whatever, or did it have a lesson to it?
I think it's a bit of both. That you do have to put in that work. That it's nothing's handed to you, and
Yeah.
but you do. What I'm thankful for is you have people there to really give you that wake up call, and then during a lot of those times, I was praying a lot. I was saying, hey God, is
Mm,
this where you want me to be? Are you there? Are you real? What's happening here?
yeah.
And in the end, I got in, and but like I said, the first year I screwed up, and then I had to petition to get
Yeah,
back
you
into
said you got
school.
kicked. You got kicked
I got kicked
out.
out. I got kicked out, and
What
then
did
but
you
then
do,
okay.
man? What did you do? What
I,
did you do? You
How
got
did you
kicked
get kicked
out.
out? What
if
kind
my
of crazy
friends ever
story?
hear this podcast, they can validate this. I had a basketball in my bag. That was the main thing I had in my bag throughout
Okay.
first year, and like my freshman year, and then it's just like after that, it was like, okay, I better not have this basketball in here. I gotta do
You
the school
Well,
let
you
me
mean you
shoot.
had
back in.
basketball but no
I mean,
books?
so you just played a ton of basketball. I love basketball too. I mean, we all
Yeah,
wanted to be Jeremy Lin. I mean, you could have been Jeremy Lin, maybe. You never know. Just gotta grow another six
yeah.
inches or something, but
So then
Jeremy made
you
it.
Uh,
eventually buckled down to it. So it's curious. One of the things I was going to ask you is like, um, Do you feel like you're a different kind of person than somebody who's not religious? So you've been religious for a while. Do you like somebody like me? Like is it like I don't know, do we have different values or do you feel like you're like a goody two-shoe guy, like you're good and maybe you don't swear and you would never do anything bad? Or is religion just like a facet of you? Does it make you a good person? You know what I'm saying? And
It makes him better
I
than
do want
you.
to,
I'm sure you're better than
yeah,
Hansel,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm sure so I do want to
But
preface
That's
that's
this
a great question. I
uh,
actually am very curious to hear
so the
how
one
you're
one
gonna.
thing to preface this by is that the previous podcast we had right before this was like the opposite direction. It's a Playboy model who was like in Fast and the Furious, and she was on drugs, and she's all so that's like one extreme. So now we're on the other extreme with Shu-Ling. So describe your side, Shu-Ling. How does religion make you a good person?
Or does it?
well, these are good questions. I don't think religion as a system makes me a quote unquote good person. I think, well, at least in terms of, the Christian story, like, that has its Judeo roots, but it's just that there's this recognition or this kind of, ingrained into humanity, this self-preserving factor, whether you believe in evolution, whether you have all these different ways of approaching it, you're always looking out for number one, right? And you
Mhm.
you want the best for yourself. You're always trying to make sure the survival of the fittest, which is me. I want to survive, and
Hmm.
I want the best for myself. And I think, and a lot of times that self focus hurts a lot of other people. When push comes to shove, you will pick yourself over other people.
Yeah.
And I think what I see in Christianity, what I see in Christ, um, is this aspect of self-sacrifice. There's this aspect where God doesn't just, let his people like wallow in sin and self-destruction and all this kind of stuff. He's like, hey, there's a better way. This is what it looks like to be human. And would you follow in this pathway? And that's kind of, I think, and that's not to say other religions or people who are, who don't have religious faith, don't have these kind of goodness within them. In Christianity, God made people, humanity, good actually first. And sometimes it's the other way around. When you hear someone trying to give a gospel spiel to somebody, right? They're kind of going, "Well, you're so screwed up. You need Jesus." Right? It's
Right.
almost like that. Like
Yeah.
people say it that way,
Yeah.
which to some degree that's true, but you started from the wrong place. No, first God made people good. We all have the ability to be good and have good values and care about our fellow human being. The golden rule is amongst all religions, actually. Well, maybe some don't, but the majority of religions have the golden rule that you should love your neighbor as yourself. Basically, you should be caring for
Right.
those around you.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the difference, at least for at least for me, in terms of where I'm coming from, is that I believe in who this Christ is. That God would send this his son into this world. He would actually send his only son to take on the punishment of sin, which is death, and to give us what not. And people talk about this, oh, eternal life, heaven in the future somewhere. This kind of cloudy, heavenly kind of thing. Where like with
Right.
all the chubby angel halo babies kind of thing with them up there
Well, I'm
somewhere.
picturing them as total hotties, but it's okay.
Okay, or hot,
That's how I picture
Bodies in
it.
bikinis.
But
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
my heaven.
yeah,
That's my heaven.
yeah,
That's
sure, right.
okay.
And then, but the difference is actually the eternal life that's supposed to be, going to heaven is not somewhere in the distant future. It's supposed to start now. That goes into
Mm,
eternity. How do
mm.
you live into
Right.
what this actual heavenly realm is supposed to be? Live now and live for what God said. This is good. We should be living for the good, caring for one another, love your neighbor as yourself, and live with that. And if you have that
So I
relationship
wonder
with
if there's
Christ,
like
that's the driving force.
I wonder if there's like statistics on this. So do you feel like the people who go to your church or the people who have that relationship with Christ, are they less likely to do the immoral things as the rest of the country? And I guess the flip side of that is right now it's kind of crazy out there because like especially here in the States with the MAGA people, there's a lot of the talk about the religious MAGA side, which is a
Yeah.
little bit wacky. And then there's also there's a lot of you guys probably saw that. Did you guys see the Shaolin Temple guy? The head of the Shaolin Temple just got busted for like
Oh yeah. I think
fathering
I've
all
seen
these
that. Yeah.
children or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
So this
okay.
is
Yeah.
Shaolin
Yeah.
I
Temple,
saw
like
that.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
birthplace of Kung Fu, right? And there's always
Kung
stories about
Fu.
popes and abusing kids and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's like on the one hand, there's this like you would think that all the people who are in church are more moral, but on the other hand, you see all these stories which are, wait a minute, maybe they aren't. Is it just like a artificial layer, or do you feel like for the people that you hang out with, are they generally like just super good people?
I think everyone has the capacity for good and the capacity for evil, right? Like
Yeah.
there is it doesn't just
What
because
is
you're
the
a Christian
most
doesn't.
evil thing that you've done?
Yeah, I thought you wanted our our parents to listen to this, but like
Yeah.
aunties, uncles
Well,
to listen to this,
they're
but
not going to
uh,
listen. I mean, they hate podcasts, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
won't even be able to figure out Spotify, right? They can't even figure out the remote
yeah.
control. How are they going to ever play this? So, you know.
I'll say it this way that it's with people at my church, they're not better. If anything, it's more that do we have a community that learns to show each other grace? Do we have to learn a community that models how to forgive each other when the going gets tough, or even and someone can be okay. Oh, let's forgive this child molester. Well, let's forgive this whoever. Like we can have these the worst of things and the least of sins kind of thing, but you don't want to just say, "Oh, I'm going to let this guy roam free if he's just like doing all these bad things." But do you have a space as well to help people be restored? Do you have people
Yeah.
to kind of slowly being reacclimated into what is a life that looks like, following Jesus actually looks like? And I think what I've seen up to this point is not that we're better. It's more that it's almost, you might have heard this term. Some churches are a hospital for sinners.
Hmm.
It's not the place to just go, oh yeah, we
Oh,
have it all
interesting.
together. We're almost like just trying to
To
walk
heal
with
from it.
people, journey with them. Exactly. And people have deep rooted
Oh,
That's a
issues,
cool
you
phrase.
know, trauma where they're coming from. And how do we walk with them so that they are able to grow, God willing, part of that as well. And they can see maybe, oh, I need, this epiphany moment. My life needs to change, something like that. And I'll tell you, with my group, I've seen some people whose lives have, and Hansel, just ironically, part of why I'm a Christian is because I saw my brother's life change.
oh,
Where when he became a Christian, I was like, wow, you're not such a dick, Like it's just like,
wait,
it's
because he
like
was a dick before?
100%, 100%, man. Like, and he started like there was a change in him, but I've started seeing that, and this is not just for other people who are not Christians. They can change too. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
there's just something that I couldn't put my finger on. I'm like,
You
God,
sure it
is that
wasn't
you
just
doing
like
something
older
here?
brother being older brother? Like he really kind of had a
He
fundamental.
Hey, Hansel, I don't know where you currently are with your brother, but my brother don't treat me like he's like an amazing older brother still up to this day. But I just saw like his life just changed how he interacted with people, how he interacted with my parents changed.
Oh,
Like
oh,
when he
really?
became a Christian.
Interesting.
And it
Okay.
wasn't because, he could have just fought with my dad forever, but their relationship has shifted. So
Oh,
stuff like that has really changed. And for me was an example. Oh, is is there a God? Is he doing something
That's
here, or is
pretty
it just
cool.
happenstance? Like so stuff like that is how I respond to that.
yeah, yeah. Wow, right on, right on. So tell us a bit more about your age. So this is an Asian podcast. So tell us more about the Asian side. So would you say? I guess we were talking about you live in a bubble there essentially, like the Markham Scarborough area right outside Toronto. It's just super Asian.
All
Very
Asians.
like a lot of religious Christian Asians, right? Because your church is so big. Who do you hang out with there? Is it all people like you? Are they all Chinese? Are they all religious?
So I answered your what's the quiz called?
The
Haru quiz
Haru,
or
Haru.
how Asian
Haru
Haru? Yeah,
Haru.
you
quiz?
did the Haru. Yeah.
Yeah,
Haru.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had to
Haru.
admit I am hanging out with mostly Asian people. Like it's rare I'm
Okay.
not, but sometimes I go play basketball with some non-Asian, that kind of
There you
thing.
go.
So,
Yeah.
but I am mostly hanging out with Asians like Chinese, Korean, Filipino, Viet kind of thing.
Okay.
Some,
So not
you know,
only Chinese then. Okay.
not only,
But
but
Asian.
majority still Chinese.
Majority
Yeah,
still.
majority still.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so what about your kids? Like what kind of values are you instilling to them? Is there's this whole Chinese push like here in the Bay Area, we're very much, you got to get into college, and all our friends are Chinese. You got to have the nicer car or whatever. Do you guys have that same type of thing up there?
You know what's weird? So when I came to Toronto, it was mostly white people. It was mostly Caucasian people that were just like
What? I
around.
don't remember it
Yeah,
ever being like that.
yeah. It was,
Whenever
but
I went
then
there, it
That's
was Asian.
wild.
there was a point
That's
in high
crazy.
school, bam, immigration just went crazy, and then there's all these Asian people everywhere. So at least in our area specifically.
Wow.
But now my kids are going to school with they're the majority, and the minority is like a few
Yeah.
white people, few black people, a few
Right.
Indian people. But it's just like I'm trying to teach them, hey, can you talk to people who are not Chinese too? Can you
Right.
talk to some of these other
Expand your
people? And
horizons.
yeah, totally, right. And you got to learn from other people. You're only going to be tunnel vision in this way. So I'm trying to help them in that way, but it's hard too because we're part of a larger predominantly Chinese church.
Yeah.
So it's rare to have some of those relationships. But at least I hate that, sometimes there's token, people. I'm like, no, let's spend some time with them. Let's make sure that you don't only spend time with Chinese
That's
people,
funny. I'm the opposite, man. When my kids went to college, I was like, you got to go find your Chinese group.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
the Asian
That's
friends.
how Hansel's
Don't care about
always just
anybody else.
like, what, you're hanging out with whiteys? What is your problem? It's just like,
So,
And
so
I'm
then,
sure in
Shu, are
university
you
that's
at,
going to happen.
yeah. Are you and Monica pushing the Chinese culture and all that stuff? Are you guys teaching them Chinese? You yourself.
Uh,
Not, I know they go to Cantonese school.
no, we don't. But she blames me because I don't speak Chinese to them, or like if I do, if we speak Chinese at home, it's for me to speak to Monica so they don't understand. That's our it's like our code language. But that's more of that. But my son understands a little bit more than the girls, but he can infer. I guess that's the best way to put it. But yeah, we try to instill still like some discipline. We're not very westernized in terms of like maybe the stereotype is Western is more free and Asian is more
right.
strict and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We are definitely more strict. We're like
Oh, really?
no, we want to make sure that they have more discipline, that they're not
So
on the
you're like
screens
tiger
all the
parents.
time. But at the same time, we don't care. Like actually, Monica's a teacher too, so that's probably another hard
Right.
thing. So she has her own standards, but if they don't do well in school, I'll be more like, if you did your best, if you're not like screwing up, if you're getting like B's or whatever, like whatever, do what you need to do. But
Yeah.
the thing is,
As long as you do your best. Yeah.
yeah, if you're not and you're just gaming or you're just doing whatever, then that's your fault, and I'm gonna rail on you, right?
Yeah.
What
Why
if
should you
Yeah.
do that?
what if your son's carrying a basketball around and he has a zero GPA?
Uh,
Yeah.
I'd be
You,
like, don't learn from me.
you,
Yeah. So what about
oh,
the rest of Canada? I mean, so what's the Canadian culture like? So Wayne and I are only used to this Bay Area culture where everybody's like, if you have a kid, you're gonna try to get them into college. That's like all we know.
it's not
Is
even
that
college.
prevalent?
It's like Ivy League or bust kind of thing. It's
It's
just
yeah, it's
really
it's
high
totally
pressure
unhealthy and
rat
stupid.
race. It's really kind
Is
of
there
stupid.
that in Canada? Because UT is a great school, University of Toronto, and it's right next there. Does everybody want to go there, or is it just like, hey, let's just do whatever?
Toronto's very similar to, I'm sure, the Bay Area in that
Okay.
way. Like that, it's super high pressured. Kids are like,
Mm,
they have mental health issues because of school, because they're
Yeah.
trying so
yep.
hard to get in, all these kind of things. But I would say, at least for my family, well, I know it's expensive in the Bay Area, but Toronto is one of the most expensive cities in the
Oh
world
yeah.
right now.
Oh
So
yeah.
we are like almost at a point where our inflation is so messed up that we're kind of just like, yeah, we can't afford to put one of you in school. So if you don't,
Yeah.
it's
There you
okay. It
go.
is what it is.
Oh man, I
It's
know, man. I just went downstairs to try to get some eggs. It was like $7 for a dozen. I'm like, what is going on here? So,
Yeah.
so, so, what
And
about the
that's
whole
even
Canada
cheap.
and
The
U.S.?
prices came down, actually.
I know, right? What
The
about the whole
price.
Canada and U.S. thing? Like, I asked you over an email a while ago. Like, as a Canadian, what do you guys think of what's happening in the States without getting too crazy political?
oh man, that's such a big can. Um, Yeah, it's a mess. I think we had a great relationship between US and Canada, and I think it just, with all these different political changes, and now the tariffs and all these kinds of things, you see in the news all the time, I'm sure on your end, like the tourism is dead. Like, how do we
Yeah,
even like work
Yeah.
together? The biggest free border in the world now feels like no
right.
one wants to cross it. all these kind of things. So
Is
it's
that the
very
feeling? Because
true.
I do read about that. Like people are just like, I'm never gonna go visit the States again because I hate those guys now. Is there, it's like, I'm not gonna, I have to buy the local Canadian stuff. I can't buy the American, Is there that
Well,
kind of sentiment?
because of what Trump did with some of the tariffs, the Canadian Ontario, at least our province of Ontario, our premier responded by like we threw out all of the American alcohol, which was of course making a
Yeah.
lot of money for the states. So it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
if you do this, then there's going to be responses, right? So what a mess. And of course, Canada. This made Canada even more patriotic. We were more like America
Right.
Junior. I
Right.
kid you
That's
not,
right.
right? The
Right.
Simpsons episode. We're America Junior, but all of a sudden it's like you poke the bear. Like
Yeah.
Canada's patriotic, right? Like we're not going to just
Yeah.
fall over. And Trump's like 51st state, like whatever. Like, you know,
51st state. I remember hearing that. That was
right?
kind of
Saying
hilarious.
this nonsense, right? Like so we're. But the Canadians, I feel, are very calm in the response. And I think Carney has been an example of that. He's not trying to, you know, say things in the
Right.
news and whatnot. So they're just trying to do what's best for Canada. And if US is going to do this because of a certain leader and pushing all these different things, he's already messing, not just Canada, with the world. He's changed the whole economic
Sure.
systems in the
Yeah.
world. So, but
Yeah.
at least with
Yeah.
Canada, US, it's like, of course, the people care for each other and we'll always kind of, have that. But when the leadership's in place, now
Yeah.
we have to prepare for, oh, if okay, God forbid you guys get into some wars or whatnot, Canada's like, okay, we need to, buckle down here and not, get into it and all this stuff. And
Right.
Yeah. How do you feel
yeah,
personally? Like, would you buy something that's made in the US? Like, would you come down here as a tourist?
dude, I'm okay. I'm going to New York Comic Con in October,
Okay.
so
Oh,
I'm
Comic-Con,
pretty
there you
pretty
go.
big
So
geek.
you don't
Yeah,
Comic
care.
I'm going to
Con.
Comic
Yeah.
Con. Yeah,
And
but
Yeah.
he's gonna
Are your
order
Canadian friends
Jack
gonna
and
give you
Jack and
crap?
Coke.
Yeah.
I have no problem ordering anything from the States. But the thing is, just that of course, if I order something from Canada, easy like it's easier and helps our economy, I'll do that first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta be a little patriotic. Well, speaking of Jack and Coke, I know didn't you live in Kentucky or go to school around there or something like that?
So I went to the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, one of your more conservative Christian
Yeah. See,
denominations.
because I grew up in Alabama.
Yeah.
There's your Baptist Southern Belt. That's closer to
So
mine.
was that Kentucky? Was that where that was?
Yeah, I went there for a year, and then I realized quickly I wasn't Southern Baptist. I think,
Wayne, are you
you
Southern
know,
Baptist? Baptist?
Well, that's how I grew up in Alabama
yeah.
and went to a
Because
Baptist church. So,
everybody there is Baptist, and it's in the South, so it's Southern Baptist.
well,
Is that
they're
how it works?
Protestant, right? It's just really big. The Bible Belt
Mm.
is going to be full of Methodists.
So Sheila, what makes you say that you're not one of those guys? Is it was
Well,
it like I'm just picturing? Is it just like a bunch of white people who are like super racist, or what? Like
Sort
I
of.
don't know what it's like over there.
I, I,
Sort
I
of.
don't I don't want to say all of them. I don't want to paint them all in, but for sure
Right.
there's a lot of
Right.
white people in that denomination. But and they are the ones who are the leaders and make all the rules. So it isn't very diverse. It isn't very a lot of communication.
Mm.
But yeah, for me, I'm more of a, if you want to put it theologically, I'm more in the middle. Like I don't, I'm
Mm.
not terribly progressive or not terribly conservative. So I like to have the conversations, and the Southern Baptists, at least, not all of them are, but at least the ones that were there, that's the flagship school. Like they're still,
Mm.
I think, the biggest Christian group in the U.S. and a lot of them are, I think, part of MAGA and stuff like that. But
Mm.
Yeah,
that's
makes sense.
that's not up my alley. You know,
That's not you, huh? Okay.
no,
No,
All
for
that's
right.
not
sure.
you.
All right. Well, so let's end this part of the podcast by asking you what you are most proud of in your life.
I think. Well, like I was telling you guys before, I'm proud of my wife. I'm proud to be married. I'm proud of. I did
Yeah,
not probably
Yeah.
think I would uh, find a wife like Monica, and I'm just thankful for her. And
Yeah,
having
she's
a
awesome.
family, it's been great. I think as well. I'm just thankful as well that I've been able to get farther in school than I ever thought. I think a lot of what I realized going through school, like I was telling you, I failed so many things. You don't have to be great at math. You don't have to be great at
Yeah.
science.
That's right.
You can plot a different course than what, everyone else does. And I when I went to seminary, Bible school, like got my master's degree, and then I went even further. I got my doctoral degree. So I have a doctorate
That's
in
awesome.
theology as well. So I just started teaching as well. And I had some opportunities to teach. So from a
That's
person
awesome.
who flunked out and became now a
Yeah.
professor,
Yeah,
it's
that's
wild.
pretty
That
huge
dude,
rebound.
that's amazing. Because I think that's a great message in the sense that, when we're growing up in the Bay Area, we talk about Toronto as well, just all this pressure of, well, you got to get your A's and all that stuff. But you're a great story of, that crap doesn't matter, right? You could still have a great life, and you can make your way and do the thing that things that you're proud of. So congrats, man. That's pretty awesome. Good for you.
I appreciate
All
it.
right, Wayne. Let's hit it. We're going to hit the
All
next part of the
right.
podcast with a gong. So we're going to jump into the Haru part of the podcast. So Shu-Ling, you actually took the Haru, the online Haru quiz beforehand. You were saying, what did you get on it? Do you remember?
Oh, you get marked on this? Like what?
You actually get
Yeah.
okay. You actually get
Well,
a score. You get a
maybe
score
you
from
didn't
zero to
Oh
100, I
finish.
man.
think.
Back to your
Were
school
you a
days.
total
Maybe you were playing
whitey?
basketball. Yeah.
What-
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see a score. I
You don't
just,
remember?
oh,
Okay. Anyway,
interesting. No, I didn't
do,
see it.
do you remember feeling that you're pretty Asian as you went through it, or do you remember feeling you were like a white guy?
You know what really always, in terms of Asian American, Asian Canadian kind of conversations, I think of, have you ever read American Born Chinese by Jean Lun Yang, the graphic
I
novel?
saw the Disney show. I didn't read the graphic novel. I saw the Disney
Right.
show.
So I didn't enjoy the Disney show, but the
Yeah, I did
graphic
neither.
novel is amazing. If you guys have not
Hmm.
read that, so I'm a comic guy, and that it's a young adult comic, but there's one scene that just etched in my mind. Looking at a mirror, and then he's this Chinese guy looking at the mirror, and he sees himself as a white man.
Mm.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I remember distinctly when I was younger, I was like, oh, because I was surrounded by, just mostly white people. I was like, oh, I'm probably more white, kind of thing. But then I'm
Huh.
Oh,
like looking at myself, I'm
absolutely.
like, no, I'm not. I'm Chinese. So it's kind of,
Right.
I remember that kind of weird moment, and he captured it really well in his comic. So
Oh
for
wow.
me, I'm,
That's great.
I'm a mix of East West, and I think, and if I can say, I think I, God placed me here to have that kind of experience, to
Yeah.
be able to walk with others, to have this kind of hybridity culture and walk with people through the kind of messiness. And that's not even just Chinese and Western, like other immigrant groups. I think that's why it's
Yep.
good. Anyone who can have a good grasp being okay in that hybridity, you're able to relate to so many different people. And Canada
Yeah.
especially is so ripe for that. And that's why I feel I have good conversation with whoever that's coming
Yeah.
abroad,
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
been great that way.
Yeah. Right on. I think that hybridness is a really cool way to look at it. I think it'd be hard for me to be Chinese, and it'd be hard for me to be American American. But I think
Yeah,
it's cool to be Chinese American, like that hybrid.
Yeah.
Right on.
and
All right. Well,
you guys
let's.
have your own culture too, right? The Asian American is very distinct, distinctly an
That
Asian
is
American.
true. There is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you say you guys, so does that mean you don't consider yourself Asian American? Is
Well,
Asian
Canadian.
I
Canadian? Is that different?
It is
I think
different, I guess.
there
I don't
is,
know. But
yeah.
where's your
Yeah.
accent, man? Where's your accent? I was
Hey.
hoping that you'd come on here and be like,
Well,
hey, the whole,
I, so
where
again,
is it?
I went to school in the States, so I have a little bit of
Ah.
American, I guess, in me. I say y'all sometimes because I was in
Oh
Kentucky.
yeah.
Just hey
That brings
y'all,
me back. We could have been in
yeah,
Alabama together. There you go.
nice.
Right on. All right, so we're gonna give you a couple of extra Haru questions to see how Asian you actually are. Three quiz
All right.
questions. Let's see how well you do. All right, we always got to start a little bit easy. Name 3 out of 5 Bruce Lee movies.
Enter the Dragon.
Yes.
Uh,
Right on.
oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Oh, the hesitancy. Oh no.
Fists of Fury
Yeah.
Yep,
is that a Jet?
Yeah.
I think that's a Jet Li movie too.
that's
But
also Jet Li. That's right.
Yeah.
what else do I? Man, I'm blanking out. I should know this. I'm done. I can't think of.
Wow! Holy cow!
Dude,
Wayne,
I'm sorry.
you're
I
gonna have
know
to sub
more.
in.
I know more Stephen Chow movies because I'm more of a comedy guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Jackie
that
Chan. I know Jackie
generation.
Chan
Okay.
movies. Drunken Master. I'm more of that kind of movie. So no, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow.
Well,
Wayne, Phil,
Another
sub
one,
in.
Return of the Dragon, you know?
Return of the
Return of the
Dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah, Return of the
Yeah.
Dragon.
Chinese Connection.
Chinese
And
Connection.
how about this?
Yeah.
What's the Korean one, Shu-Ling? The one with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh my gosh. What is the name of that? Was Chuck Norris in that too? Like, which one was
Game
it?
of
No, my God, you're
Game.
so not Asian.
Yeah, yeah. Chuck Norris was in
Oh man.
Return. That the
Okay.
one
Yeah.
in
Okay. He's a
the
Game of
Chuck.
Death.
the
Game of
Roman
Death. That was his last
Coliseum.
one.
Game of
Game of
Death.
Death.
Oh man.
Ah,
We
you
got it.
Oh.
okay.
We got you
Go
covered.
back and memorize those, man. That's your
Uh,
And
homework.
two or three.
Okay, all right. So number two, then we'll have to see if you get this next one. All right, this is about the dim sum culture. How do you say thank you when somebody pours the tea without saying thank you?
oh, I'm going. Well, at least
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh
Cantonese.
yeah, let me rephrase that. How
That's
do
got to
you
be
what do
right.
you what is the nonverbal way to thank somebody when they're pouring tea?
Oh, tapping two fingers.
Tapping the fingers. There you
Yeah,
go.
there you
Did you
go.
know that, Wayne? Because I've never seen you
I
tap fingers when I give you tea.
Yeah, I never did that. I never knew that that was exactly. I just thought people were like, yeah, I don't know. I just thought we were at a blackjack table. It's either like hit me or
Yeah, hit
whatever.
me.
It's
Hit
like I
me.
want more, but it just seemed a little bit odd because they're actually wanting you to stop. But it's
Yeah,
just
it's
Okay.
like
Well,
the
here's the trivia.
emperor. It's the emperor
yeah,
sign or something.
it's
Yeah.
That's
like
right. I was going to say that's the trivia. Do
Yeah.
you know the history of it? Like why you tap fingers? Shooting.
Yeah, it was something like something about like some secret sign for the emperor,
It
like or something
the
like
emperor.
that.
It's supposed to emulate kneeling. So
Yeah,
like you're
yeah,
supposed to
bowing
like put your
down.
fingers in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, those
yeah.
are
So you're
your
like
like
kneeling with your
legs
fingers, basically. Yeah.
to
So
say
that's where that came from.
stop pouring my tea. But I just let them go, and if it overflows, it's their fault. They have to clean up a big mess. So
Good
it's
thinking,
like
Wayne.
how yeah, how much can they pour anyway? Really?
All right. So this last question is a multiple choice. So Chow Yun Fat, you guys, you remember?
Yep.
Is he
Yep.
okay? You're not too
Gotta
young
know
for him,
Chow
are you?
Yun Fat.
No,
Are you
no,
too
no.
young for that? Chow Yun, come
Okay,
No.
on.
okay. You're actually,
He's
how old are you? You're Gen Y. Are you Gen Y or are you millennial
I
or are you?
I'm like an early millennial, like xennial, like in between. Yeah, like
Okay,
I'm 42. I'm 42.
okay,
so
okay. 14.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chow Yun Fat. Okay, so you know who this guy is at least. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is actually, I was super surprised by this. So what is his net worth out of these three numbers? What is his net worth? Is it $30 million? Oh my God. Is it $200 million? This is all US
whoa,
dollars, by the way.
totally
Or
different.
is it $700 million?
What?
What? It's one of those. Could you believe that? Jellyfot is rich.
Yeah,
That dude
because
is
30
loaded.
being the lowest ain't that
Yeah,
bad.
he already said he's going to donate it all to charity or something like that when he dies.
Dang.
So
So
30 million, 200
30.
million, or 700
200
million.
or 700, that's approaching a billion. I mean,
I know.
could
Isn't that
he
crazy?
really be approaching a billion? I don't
l-
know.
Let's go with 700 million. Let's just go
700.
with that. Let's
That is
just go
one
with
of the right
that.
answers. It is
Whoa.
actually so if you Google it right now, actually there's two different websites give two totally different things. But one person said I think it was on the China Daily Post said he's worth 700 million US dollars, and then Celebrity Net Worth said he is worth 200 million.
Well,
So either
you got it
way, it
right
doesn't
then.
matter. It's a
Okay.
gigantic
Doesn't
number. Can you
matter. I
believe
mean,
that?
at that point, what is the difference? So say he had
Yeah.
700 versus 200. I don't know. Do you sleep
Well,
any
but Wayne,
differently?
Wayne, you remember like we did that net worth show and you remember what Jackie Chan's was?
It
Wasn't
was
he
like
like 100 or something?
100,
It was
maybe. Yeah.
like, could it be lower than Tell and Fought? That
And
seems
Michelle
insane.
Yeoh was way lower than Jackie
She
Chan.
was really low.
Like,
Anyway,
yeah.
that super surprised me. I can't even think of what else he's been in. What was he in? He was in the Dragon. What was that?
Yeah. I mean, he was in some
He was
big
in
ones, and then he did start
Better
getting into the Western
Tomorrow.
films.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yeah, yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
he
he
Yeah.
was
wasn't
in
in
some
that
recent
many.
one because we were traveling Asia, and my wife made me watch this Asian movie, I think 1831, about the Chinese and the
Okay.
railroads and
But
all.
he's
And
not
then
like,
Chow Yun Fat was in it still.
but
So
he's
he's
not like Jackie Chan's in like, I don't know, 1,000 movies. And then Michelle Yeoh is in like every single Asian movie out there. That's
but
insane, this guy.
That's why she's an
yeah.
Oscar winner.
That's
Yeah.
why she's an Oscar
But
winner.
maybe the money is behind the scenes. Maybe he's got the
I
production
guess.
company or something.
I guess, man.
Who
That guy's
knows?
making it. All right, cool. Well, so let's see. Let's end this podcast with Shu-Ling. What is your life tip for the audience?
Well, I don't know who's your crowd
Asians.
directly. I would assume
Asian
who the crowd
Canadians,
is.
Asian
Asian
Canadians,
Canadian.
Yeah.
um, I,
Now it will be Asian Canadians after you come on.
Chinese Canadians.
my tip would be this a kind of life lesson that I've learned, and I think I learned it through church because a lot of, and I'm sure if people are listeners who are in church and whatnot, people see a lot of churches kind of mess up or like culturally because oh, I'm more English speaking and more westernized, and my parents are more old school, they're first gen, all this kind of stuff. I think what I've learned in that, and there's still messiness within their church or not, but just to recognize that our parents did the best they could. I'm sure there are some bad parents as well, but there's parents did the best that they could. They had their own issues.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of time to process their issues and didn't have a lot of space to do that. So they were always concentrated on, getting this, that's why tiger parents and whatnot, trying to, get you straight
Yeah.
line to where the goal
Right.
is. And some get so frustrated by that. So my tip is you can own your tradition. You don't have to take everything from it. Learn from it. See if you can synthesize some of it. Take the best from it, and plot towards the future. Because you know, maybe one thing is that maybe God puts you where you're at for a reason. And you might be a good bridge towards someone else, or you might be able to help someone else through it. And who knows, like learning some of that tradition can actually help us all become better in the future. So that's just something that I think
Yeah.
a lesson I've been learning.
That's great.
Yeah, right
I
on.
love
I
it.
think a good sort of another way to say that is respect your mom and dad. Like,
Yeah,
we were
because
talking
they've been
about this
through hell
earlier.
basically, and then a
Yeah.
lot of times we just kind of are like, oh, they're stupid. I mean,
Yeah,
or they,
especially us, like we're that the second generation, the moms and the dads are the ones that came on and had to fight through all the racism and crap that
yeah.
they set us up for. And then Wayne, you and I are often making fun of our moms. Or like, well,
Oh
how come she
yeah.
can't open emails and whatever?
Oh, I know. Like they
But
never knew how
yeah,
to use a VCR back in the day. I don't even know. Nobody knows
yeah,
what a
yeah,
VCR is.
got
I,
it.
I'm still IT
Respect
support
them.
for all my family members. So yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
Even
sometimes
though
you
your
just
dad
get
used to work in
frustrated, but I
IT,
love that
like your dad
advice
was
because
you're,
yeah, I definitely
yeah,
would get
You-
frustrated with them sometimes. And I think that appreciating what they went through to even get us to where we are.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And my aunt, I might as well thank my aunts and uncles too, Uncle Jeff and Auntie Mary and all those guys. Your parents too. They went through all the same stuff. So
Yeah.
mad respect out to that generation. Appreciate you guys bringing us over. So that wraps
Yeah.
up this podcast, Shu, man. Congratulations for where you're at, man. You kind of turned it around after your high school and college years, and now you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Congrats.
Congrats, man. Thanks
And
for being on it.
thanks.
Yeah. And hey, and when you're back in Toronto, I'll invite you to my church too. All right.
Right
Yeah.
on, man. Make
But
sure the
Hansel's
sermon is
never crossing
interesting
the
enough
border
for.
though. We can't
Yeah.
go over there now. We'll never get back. We'll
Yeah,
never get
because I'll never
back.
come back.
I
I'll never
mean,
Just
be
just
back.
don't
look at us. We
don't bring
are
that.
not. We're gonna get stopped at the border. If Hansel and I are
Yeah,
over
we
there.
look Asian.
We're not getting in. We look Asian, dude.
All right, man.
Cool,
Thanks.
man.
Appreciate it. We are sponsored by none other than the Coder School, a company that teaches kids how to code with over 70 locations all around the country. So if you're interested in getting your kids to code, head online and check us out. Learn to code, change the world. Thanks for listening.